Round two. Round two. Remember, it's third time's a charm, so this one probably won't go very well either. But anyways, so number one. Hi again, right? So like we were saying earlier, and I tried to delete the video, but Facebook has been kind enough to tell me that I can't even.
They said fuck now.
Yeah, it won't even let me delete my own shit now. Like I can't tell you the level. I'm holding it in pretty well. I really am. I did have some choice words for Sudden Leak earlier, but I'm just over technology. I'm over Facebook. If there was a different platform, I would definitely go. It's like Facebook punishes you for having people like you.
They do.
It's crazy. Like, I don't understand it.
It's just like Tyler was saying. If you don't,
is it because we don't want to pay for it?
If you don't pay for the likes,
I don't get it, man. Shit. I just don't understand it. So, all right, for those of you that have Facebook pages out there, let's go ahead and just rat them out a little bit and let them know what exactly is going on and how exactly Facebook really kind of treats people that try to use their platform. So you can pay for advertising, okay? Which, I guess kind of doesn't sound like a horrible idea, right? Pay to get your name out there a little bit, but it doesn't really produce anything genuine. You can get some likes off of it and stuff like that, but it doesn't really do anything. And then if you don't do it anymore, they just shit all over you with everything that you try to do. It's always a hassle. It's always a problem. There's always issues. And Facebook is just becoming this pay us type of platform. And it's insane, man. Like, it's just, we're not even, you look at somebody like us, we're not even an actual, real, genuine business, guys. We just do this for fun. And we do have some products, and we do have our business license. But we do. We are legal. But as far as selling us stuff and everything like that. But if you're not willing to just force feed, there should be, if you're on your phone, Will, there is going to be a button on the very bottom, little green looking dude. And if you will press that button, it will allow you to send a request, and we can bring you right on in. That's the easiest way to do it. It was the easiest way to do it.
That's one of the kickers. That button's not available unless you're on a mobile device. Yeah. Facebook punishes you that way as well.
Yeah, it's very particular with it, man. We've tried several different ways with several different things, and regretfully, this is if you're going to use their platform, you're going to do it this way, and they don't really give a shit beyond that.
It's not very user friendly for our guests.
It's not user friendly for us. Honestly, it's very rough. I mean, look at, we just had David Howard Thornton on, which was an amazing night. I had a blast. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see Terrifier 2, just throwing that out there. But it was such a battle just to get it started. And then even when you get it started, you get all the lag in between and everything else. See, and Mike Ross's video was doing the same thing. It's just so unbelievably frustrating how bad this platform is becoming.
Is it still doing it?
I don't know. Nick, is it still doing it, or are we good right now? Because I see it pulsating every once in a while, like it's trying to zoom in on something for some fucking reason. So Nick, you have So Nick is he's working on starting his own Facebook page. We've talked about it a little bit. Science Behind the Scare. We're going to be doing an interview with him shortly on the 20th, and you have all types of fun things that you get to experience, Nick. All types of cool things you'll find out about Facebook and how awesome they can truly be sometimes. I think I just ran Nick off because he just popped off.
Gone.
Yeah, either that or Facebook.
Oh shit, they're talking.
Yeah, either that or Facebook kicked him out. One of the two. Who knows? That's
a possibility. Mike Ross even got kicked out the other day. Who the hell kicks out Mike Ross?
Yeah, those are like top fans and stuff like that. It's crazy. Like
I was trying to watch his feed the other day, and it kicked me off his feed 3 times. Yeah. And it said that the feed had ended, and I had to keep going and going and going until it let me view it.
Hi, Melody. Welcome back, Nick. So we are, Trish.
Cool.
Okay,
Send
cool.
a photo.
All right, cool. So it looks like you can at least see my beautiful face now. You can hopefully see this guy's beautiful face. This is one of my favorite people right here. You have no idea, John, how much we absolutely love Facebook. They are so wonderful on so many levels. Shut up, laptop. Speaking of laptops, for those of you that missed the first video, don't worry. Even though I tried to delete it 7 times, you can still go back and view it. So a couple of things. Number one, you might be able to hear it in my voice, and you can probably see it with my red ass nose right now. I am a little under the weather. Okay, I am running on every bit of a solid 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep. I spent the whole morning at work. Luckily, we got our asses kicked the entire time we were at work.
Ditto.
I haven't even taken my polo off yet. In case you're wondering where I work for, right there it is. All right, that's all the information you get. All right, and if you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. But that's where I work. But we got our asses kicked, got rocked almost the entire shift, and it was fun. It was a good time. I had to blow my nose at least 40,000 times today, which is always fun when you're in the middle of cooking and trying to get everything out. And you got to step off the line every 5 minutes because, yeah, it's been a rough day. It's been a rough day. But hopefully we're going to end it on a good note. We're going to be able to get Will in here shortly. Trisha's talking to him, I believe. She's doing something over there. She's trying her best. We're trying our best, as we always do. But a couple of things like that. Number one, I am a little sick, so I do apologize if my voice is a little off. And maybe I'm not quite as energetic as I usually am. And I may have to blow my nose 25 times during this. I don't know. I'm trying not to. But I make no promises on that. It's been a rough day. Tomorrow, we will be trying our very best to talk with Chris Roosh. And I think I'm just going to start saying that now. We're going to try our very best to have an interview. Ha! A viewer wants to be in your broadcast.
No, it's just me.
Oh. Well, you got to tell me stuff. I got all excited.
I know. I was just making sure of what it looks like so I can tell him.
How mad would you be if I approved it? And just
don't.
It's gone. It's gone. Relax. There's no need. Don't worry. Sorry, guys. Had to happen. So we'll be trying to talk to Will from Shock Theater tonight. We will be trying to talk to Chris Roosh tomorrow night. We're going to try our very, very best. But, we're done making promises because we don't fucking know half the time. And this is supposed to be just a test run, but honestly, at this point, if we get him on, we're probably just going to roll with it.
Yeah, it's almost 9.
Yeah, it's almost that time anyways. So, yeah. So, Will, if you're watching, hopefully, man, you've gotten flipped over to that cell phone and we can bring you on in. Like I said, it's a little green dude right at the very bottom of the screen when you click on the live feed.
It's a green symbol of a little person and another little person. Kind of like on a bathroom door.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit. It's got a little square beside it, a little dude, everything like that. But in case you're wondering who exactly Will of Shock Media is and what exactly Shock Theater is,
you'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna find out in a minute. But we're not, so there's been a little bit of nonsense that has happened with their latest production.
He's trying.
Heard he's trying. Again, it's not user friendly. It's rough. It's rough. But definitely be on your cell phone. It's just the easiest way to make this happen. But anyways, they've had a little bit of nonsense they've had to deal with. But we're not going to talk just about the nonsense, provided Facebook lets us talk tonight. We're not going to talk just about the nonsense. We're going to talk about, number one, who exactly Will is, and what got him into horror, and why he does what he does, and how he comes up with some of the stories that he comes up with. We've already been to Shock Theater once. We went back in February for their blind date experience, and we are going back because we had a blast. It was awesome. It was an absolutely wonderful experience. Interesting things, but it was so much fun. It was a really cool time, and we did do a review on it. So in case you're wondering and you want to know a little bit about them already, anyways, I'm trying, Melody. I am trying so hard to think positive. I'm trying. It is just so hard right now. It's so hard because Facebook is such... I'm not even going to cuss them anymore. I'm just, they're great. We love Facebook. They're awesome. Mark Zuckerberg is God. I'll bow down and kiss the ring of the almighty Mark Zuckerberg or whoever the hell is running this shit these days. See? Kissed his ring. So, but anyways, we're going to try and get Will on. We're going to talk about Shock Theater, obviously. We're going to talk about how it came into being. We are going to talk about the nonsense a little bit. And they're not even telling the whole story with it, which is really the horrible part. They're only, it's same stupid, media-filled, agenda-filled bullshit Somebody has taken something completely out of context, blown it completely out of proportion, and turned it into something it's not, and it was never intended to be, and it's just stupid. And we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it, provided, again, that we get all this to work tonight. And then we're going to do, again, if we can get him on there, we're going to do that whole death fight segment that we did last time with David Howard Thornton. I thought that was fun.
I liked it.
I did too. So we got some different ones. We did some different ones here. Not going to be coming with the exact same ones, obviously. That would get boring. But we got some different battles. And if you guys have anyone that you want to throw out there as a possible suggested fight to the death battle, by all means. By all means. Oh, that's cool. Facebook wanted to...
Did Facebook let you know we're live?
This is how much. It's like they flip you off. Okay? It just let me know that this post is performing super, super well. And better than 75% of our other posts. And if we'd like to give them some money, they'll boost it out for us.
Yep.
And make it even better. That seems to be where the problem is. When you decide not to give them your credit card information,
which they will then take and run up hundreds of dollars on your account without you putting any money towards it whatsoever.
As quickly as they possibly can. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This has to happen. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sick. I didn't do it in front of you. I did a little slide over. Hey, we got somebody else trying to view. Is that please be Will? Please be Will. Yes!
Yes! Thank God!
Ha ha ha. Facebook, don't you
Is this working?
Yes. Yes.
I see me.
God.
Yes, I can see you perfectly. You see us.
All right.
No, flip it back around.
I can try.
Flip your phone back around. You're sideways now.
Okay.
There you
Well,
go.
I look fat. I look fat. Why do I look so fat?
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
How art thou? I'm sitting on my
All right,
floor.
so
We are so sorry that there are so many different do this, to be on a screen.
yeah.
It's goddamn trash. It's trash.
It is.
Yeah.
Facebook is
Yes,
trash.
It
Facebook is
is.
trash.
It really is.
My girlfriend and my best friend were shooting a pornography together in the bedroom.
What?
They were shooting porn together, so that's what was going on. They were throttling our internet while he was throttling her, and
Very good. Very good. Very good.
that might
I like
be
where
a
this is
better.
going on. This is going to be a fun night.
This might be a better angle. I don't know.
No, you look fantastic. You look fantastic.
Am I gonna look this terrible on the internet?
Yes.
But dude, you don't look terrible. You look
like
beautiful.
This is not who I. This doesn't represent who I am.
And I can vouch for him because
It doesn't represent who he
it
is.
doesn't. If you would have saw this man at blind date, he was pimping.
He was pimping.
He was pimping at blind date. Him
Wow.
and David both absolute pimp status at blind date. It was phenomenal. All right, so don't be deterred. Okay. But anyways, number one, allow me to introduce who we have with us tonight. This is Will. He is head honcho at Shock Media. He is an amazing individual, and I'm going to be honest with you. It was his experience of blind date that has really sent us into immersive haunts.
It really was.
Full tilt and really getting into going and experiencing some mothers. And we have been waiting for the right one to pop up, and it has. And we will be going back up there here very, very shortly to see.
Well, there's two. There's Dead of Night's coming back this year.
Okay. All right. So we're going to elaborate on that a little bit too. We'll talk about that. But as we do with every single guest, now we're going to talk about Shock Theater. We're going to talk about some of the nonsense that's been going on and everything like that. But before we do that, we got to get to know Will a little bit better. All right. So Will, what originally got you into horror?
What got me into horror? My mom, when I was a kid, and it was a really horribly traumatic situation that allowed her to show me horror, to let me know that things weren't really that bad, although they were. And that's what got me into horror and what's got me into Halloween. And I mean, I don't think your viewers want to hear why, although I'm very cavalier about it. And I think that would be like really awkward for me to just say on camera that I was raped as a kid. But
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Wow.
That's the truth though. That's not even the but it's true. That's the 100% reality, is that's what got me into horror, was a horribly traumatic situation. And it happened for 2 years, and I stuck with horror and Halloween, and it's been a part of my life ever since. And I used horror and Halloween as a way to cope.
Awesome.
Nice.
I mean, not
I beat it,
obviously, but I mean,
I beat it. I beat it. So just in case there are any ladies out there who don't believe that men get raped, you're wrong. I'm a living example, and I'm a survivor. So how do you like that, feminism?
Hey, you know what? Kudos to you, man. And that's
just a thumbs up. I love that.
I mean, not to the raping, but to how you've dealt with it. And,
see how fucked up I get people when I tell them this? It fucks them up. It ruins them.
Yeah.
When people would be like, "Oh, I bet you love sucking dick, don't you?" And I was like, "I was forced to suck dick as a child." No, I don't. They really go, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. I was kidding." And I was like, "I'm not." And then it gets real weird. But I'm really cavalier about it, and that bothers a lot of people. But I don't care what other people feel or think. So, you know, that's how I go. I'm just waiting for these two jabronis to stop talking. All right.
I'm gonna help him carry his stuff out.
All right, help him carry the shit out.
I am.
Come on.
You're not.
I'm on the internet. See?
Finally.
This is the internet. This is my female companion, Lauren.
Nice. Hello, female companion.
Hello.
Okay.
All right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, but number one, I mean, and again, not obviously terrible situation, but using horror to kind of be a catalyst to deal with that and to allow you to cope with it. That aspect of it is cool, and it does show how.
I'm still here. It just fell.
But that shows how much this stuff can mean to people and what it can do for people and how it can help you cope with real life, which is a crazy thing to think about, especially, you know, when we think back, you know, not only to Blind Date, and you made us do some weird shit there, but to some of the other, some of the other experiences that we've been through. It kind of makes other stuff in the world not really seem as bad, honestly.
Yeah, I that's a great point, is that I looked at all the monsters and horror films and like Freddy Krueger, and although he was basically a child rapist too, so maybe he's not the best example, but all those horror films and whatnot. First horror film I ever saw was Night of the Living Dead by George Romero, and that's how my mom got me started. And it was Halloween night, actually. She let me watch it. I was 6 years old. I was 6, so I wasn't, you know. And then she became very Catholic. She got in touch with her Irish heritage, and she wanted to be Catholic again. So, you know, then she wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons or horror films for a while. But then, you know, then came a time where it was like, okay, I'm gonna just do whatever I want. And Christina Buster, yes, thank you. I love you very much, Christina. Your compliments mean a lot to me. She's saying I have nice shows. Thank you. You're a gem. Thank you. Yeah, so that's you know, that's kind of where it started. And then I started working in the haunted attraction industry. Of course, I went to haunted houses as a kid, and I did haunted houses on my own when I was a little kid. And those were made out of refrigerator boxes, and I'd have people crawl through them, and then I'd throw grapes on the floor, and they'd step on them, and I'd hit you in the face with a mop, and I'd scream my eyes. And I got that. I remember the reason why I did that is I watched a movie called Ernest Scared Stupid, and they made a little haunted house in it. So I wanted to make one just like that. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So I started working in the haunted attraction industry. I met a guy named Rich Hamp. I didn't really have a dad growing up. He was a very abusive, douchey guy. And so Rich became basically like my pseudo father, and he still runs haunted houses in America. But I met him at a Fangoria convention when I was a young punk rock kid, probably 14 years old or so. And then I wasn't old enough to work for him yet, but when it came around time I started working at House of the Living Dead in Lake Grove, New York. And I never looked back. And I've always been part of the haunted attraction industry since then. And I probably won't ever stop because it just becomes part of you, and it becomes a passion, an obsession. It's almost a sacrifice because if Halloween's a really important holiday if you're an Irish person. If you are Irish, Halloween is your holiday. So if you are culturally Irish as well as I am, Halloween's a very important part of your Celtic heritage. And you should absolutely love celebrating it and understanding why our ancestors celebrated it.
I know between 30 and 90.
Shut up! I'm on the thing. God. God. All right. So yeah, that's really it. I haven't looked back, and then I went to college and I started making extreme haunted house ideas and think. Bye, Sean. Bye, Sean. Sean's leaving. I have to say goodbye to him. So
That's fine. Bye, Sean.
A lot of commotion going on right now. Okay, great. So so when I was in college, I took a class in advertising, and that was my major, and that's the field that I work in today. And they wanted us to take a product or service and rebrand it as something. So I took haunted houses and I rebranded them into what became Dead of Night.
Okay, very cool. So before we get into Dead of Night and Shock Theater and all that stuff, what is one of your favorite, and for lack of a better term, traditional haunted house that you've been able to go through?
My favorite that I every year I still go to the Haunted Tunnel at Woodside Nursery off of Woodside Avenue in Medford, New York. I've gone there. That was the first haunted house my mom ever took me to. I was 6. I was after that whole ordeal. And I go to that haunt every year, and I go through the show. It hasn't changed at all since I was 6 years old. And maybe like a few things, like they improved things, but it's basically one of those planting tunnels outdoors, and it has like a big wood castle facade, and you'd go through it. It's really terrible. It's awful. It's one of the worst haunted houses you could ever go to. But the cheesiness and the innocence of it, that's why I still go back, and I have great memories there. The fact that every year I walk the same path that I did when I was 6 is really cool, and it ends in a pumpkin patch, and I get a pumpkin every year too.
Very cool. Very cool. Now you did say before you got into extreme haunts that you did do a little bit of acting inside kind of the traditional style haunted houses.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back on that time frame, that period of your life, is there a particular character you got to play that really holds a special spot to you?
No, what I really cared more about than anything, I mean, I was obsessed with zombies as a kid. Like, I was on that zombie train way before everybody else was, because first movie I ever saw was like Night of the Living Dead. That was a horror film. And I fell in love with George Romero movies from there. So I was a big George Romero fan growing up, and I got to work with him. I got to be on TV with him, and it was really cool. So it was huge into zombies. So I was really big into punk rock. So when I was working for Rich at House of the Living Dead doing traditional haunt stuff, we had the punk rock zombie alleyway, and he let me and my friend John design it. And we were either the first room or the last or second to last room in every year at the haunt. And the very last year was our probably best designed punk rock zombie alleyway. It had like brick walls and band posters everywhere of our favorite punk and hardcore bands, and we were dressed as punk zombies, and we'd scare the shit out of people. So I guess that's like my most favorite memory. But after that, I stopped caring about acting, and I just really wanted to focus on the way things looked. So I got way more into scenic design. Okay. And then Rich got me way more into advertising the show, so I stopped caring about scenic design as much, and I started focusing more on getting people to the show, making the show a little bit more money, and getting it into people's eyes that hadn't seen it before. And I never looked back. I went to school for advertising just because of that.
Very cool.
And now I work in advertising for the last 10 years, professionally, and I do a lot of crazy PR stunts, as you might know already. Which I got recently a lot of in trouble for. Although half of it wasn't a PR stunt, but I had to own it. I had to own it up. I had to own up to it. It's bullshit what happened, but I mean, I'm sure we'll talk all about that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. But before we get into the origins of shock theater and everything else, we got a fun little segment that we like to do. We started it last week with David Howard Thornton, or 2 weeks ago now. I probably took a week off. But so I'm going to give you 2 different characters, all right? And I don't think that you're going to have an issue keeping up with any of the characters or knowing anybody that we're talking about. You should be right on board with it. But these are fights to the death, okay? You got to pick a winner, all right? Now, we had a special guest that requested the first one, so we're going to throw it out there. Although I think it's a softball. But anyway, so the very first one, the first fight to the death. Wolverine versus Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, Wolverine wins.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
that was low, man.
I mean, like, gosh, that's really easy. Wolverine has a mutant healing factor, adamantium skeleton, the ability to have berserker rage. Edward Scissorhands is a guy. I guess he started off as a robot, I guess, in a way. And I guess that means he's got a metal skeleton, but he definitely can't stand up against adamantium, which is the strongest metal that we know. Hey, Justin, how art thou?
That's one of
Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine wins that one. He definitely wins.
I agree. Now I am going to do one repeat just because it seemed to have the most interesting response, the most interesting interaction. Predator. And not talking about a super predator, just a regular old predator.
So Predator versus Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, no. We're going to go with Predator versus Iron Man.
Oh. Iron Man wins that. Wait, unless Predator well, no, Iron Man can get out of that situation. But could he at the same time? I don't know.
I mean, Predator
depends on which
everything else.
It depends on which suit Tony has. Which suit does he have?
Let's go original. Let's go original Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger, that Predator from the very first one versus the original Iron Man suit. Not the one that he built in the cave, but his first kind of official red and gold suit that you saw in the first.
Yeah, movie. Iron Man. Iron Man wins no matter what.
Super bad.
All right,
yeah,
so
Iron Man. Because even that Mark that was like Mark II. That was his Mark II suit. Even that would be able to pick up where Predator is at no problem, and Predator wouldn't stand a chance against Iron Man. No way. You should have asked me like who wins against like Godzilla or Cloverfield. That would have been a harder debate.
So who wins? That's your third one. You just named it yourself.
Oh, who wins that? Nothing can kill Cloverfield. But then I guess I got to wonder which Godzilla is he fighting? Which version of Godzilla is he fighting as well? Because Godzilla doesn't seem to be very easy to kill as well. You know what? They destroy the Earth. That's what happens.
That's a cop-out. That's a complete cop-out.
Well, I mean, listen, it could go it can go 3 ways. The Earth gets destroyed, or one of them gets destroyed, and they are Titans. So the Earth dies, and then everyone lives happily ever after because there's no more Earth. No more existence. No nothing.
All right, I'm gonna go with it. All right, so far we have a very dead Edward Scissorhands.
Very, very dead.
Never even stood a shot. Just dead on arrival, honestly. And then second, sadly for me, I like Predator. I'm a big fan of Predator, but I have to agree. I think Predator gets some shots in. I think he gets some shots in. Let's fire one of the cannons off. Maybe Nicky do a little damage to Iron Man, but maybe.
Yeah, he might be able to stab Iron Man, but like Iron Man is going to kill Predator. Iron Man can fly. Predator cannot. Predator can go invisible. Iron Man can't, but Iron Man can detect some like he can detect an invisible predator because he has the ability to see all different types of thermal rays and whatnot. So there's There's no way that Iron Man loses that. And as far as the Cloverfield Godzilla thing, let's just move on. Earth is over, and that doesn't matter. There's no debating it. Earth is gone. So that's how that is.
So we got two more.
I got one for you right here. All right, this is gonna be a
Okay.
challenge. All right, Jason Voorhees versus the Terminator from the second movie. I believe the T-1000. I think was the name. I can't remember if that was the exact model of that Terminator or not. But I know you know which one I'm talking about. So Jason Voorhees versus I'm pretty sure it's the T-1000. Who wins
T-1000 wins that. T-1000 wins that. Yeah, he'll win.
Okay.
He would tear Jason Voorhees apart. Look. I mean,
he already killed Jason though.
Yeah,
Who comes back?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. T-1000 is going to win that because T-1000 is liquid metal that can be formed into a thing. It's liquid metal that can be formed into any sort of shape and it could create weapons out of its hands. Jason Voorhees is he's no fucking match. He's no match for that.
What about if it was from Jason X?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not that that's a real popular movie, but I think Jason X could be a little bit more of a formidable foe for the T-1000.
The greatest scene in Jason X is when David Cronenberg gets killed. Did you know that David Cronenberg's in that movie?
Yeah.
He's the scientist. He's the scientist in the beginning. Jason X is a terrible movie, and it's horrible. It's fun to watch. It's a really good popcorn flick. I mean, T-1000 versus you'd have a better fight would be between Terminator and Jason X. That would be a better fight. But even then, Jason X he fell to Earth, and he burned up. T1, the what is it, T-800, T-100, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, that thing would probably live, if it fell to Earth at the altitude that Jason X did. So, everything beats Jason in this because he's still, he is still an organic being and everything else isn't.
Okay.
Right. His flesh can be blown up. I mean, if you saw Jason Goes to Hell, you know that he could be blown to pieces. So,
yeah, it is true.
So, what's the next one? What's the next one?
One more here. One more. I'm trying to. You're just blazing through them so easy, man. I'm rethinking here. I'm trying to come up with a doozy for you here at the end. So let's think. Let's go superhero versus some type of villain again.
Well, I mean, you should have done Wolverine versus Freddy Krueger.
That would have been a better matchup.
Yeah, but you see, that one wasn't my choice. That was from one of the fans, and Nick, you failed on that one, man. I'm sorry, that wasn't a good one. We let them pick one question, Will, and you see what they give us. They give us Wolverine versus Edward Scissorhands. So
hey,
anyway,
I get it. Yeah. Here's the reason why that's a good match, because in Logan, Weapon X Wolverine, in his canon, he always has terrible nightmares anyway.
That is true.
And
I didn't even think about that. That would, but I mean, in the nightmare realm, I don't think Wolverine stands a chance. Freddy can do whatever he wants.
He'd have to pull him out into the real world.
He'd have to somehow pull him out of it to actually make a fight out of it.
I think at first, I mean, here's the thing. Wolverine is going to heal in the real world no matter what, even if he's asleep. His mutant power will heal him. So if Freddy attacks him, he's not going to die. So Freddy would be like, I can't fucking kill this guy. Why can't I kill him? And I'm sure Wolverine would be like, oh man, he's probably really hurting me in the dream world. But when he get,
that is true. If he cuts the head off, he does die.
What, Wolverine?
Yeah.
No, that's not true. Nope. I could give you several instances where are we talking about when Wolverine versus Hulk, when Wolverine cut it, like that's old canon and stuff. That's before Wolverine was a hero. However, Wolverine's that changed. Wolverine's mutant ability isn't a mutant healing factor. His power is like his body survives. If you cut Wolverine's head off, he's just gonna breathe through his skin.
Okay. All right.
I'm serious. I have so many. You should see. You should see my. You should see my. Well, you know what? Maybe you can. I don't. It's hard. It's hard to see, but that shelf right there, right there, all the way up there. Those are all filled with Batman and Wolverine comics. All that stuff right there. That whole. It's hard to tell. Ow! I hit my arm. That's all filled with Wolverine and Batman comics, and even Dark Claw comics went from Amalgam when DC and Marvel merged into a new comic book company, and they created Dark Claw, where it was a Wolverine Batman hybrid. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Wolverine comics and Batman comics, and I can tell you right now, Wolverine's gonna live. Also, you'd have a hard time getting through his adamantium.
Yeah, that would be the tough part.
Yeah, the adamantium.
Would be actually pulling it off.
You would need
little gloves that Freddy has, man. It's not like he's got.
I'm talking in Freddy's world though, not the real world.
You still lose. He just completely schooled us on Wolverine. Like we lost.
I'm sorry, guys. There's no beating Wolverine. There just isn't. Wolverine cut his head off in Old Man Logan. He put his head on a train track, and let a train hit his head, and that erased most of his memory. And he didn't pop his claws out for a very long time after that. But he didn't die. He lived on. Wolverine's basically immortal. The older he gets, the less effective his mutant powers are. But he's basically immortal.
Okay. All right, last one. I think this one might at least make you think for a second. All right, now I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, but there is a lot of people out there that watch it. So I'm familiar with Darth Vader. I've obviously seen Darth Vader. I'm a little familiar with his powers. But let's go Darth Vader versus Thor.
Thor.
Thor's a god. Thor beats everyone because Thor's a god.
With how he's able to just control everything, and the dude had both of his legs cut off, his arm cut off, and was about to be swallowed up by lava and survived.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor. Thor wins no matter what. Thor's a god. Even Stan Lee will tell you that. Stan Lee will tell you Thor is the most powerful hero in the Marvel universe because Thor is a god. He is a genuine god.
All right, bonus question here. I got you. All right, let's stick with Darth Vader. All right, but let's go back to Iron Man. Iron Man's not a god. He's immortal. All right. So Iron Man, I think, be a little bit more of a closer challenge, not to bring him back up, but whatever. Iron Man versus Darth Vader, street fight to the death. Who comes out on top?
Darth Vader's gonna win that one.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Darth Vader
control.
He's gonna use the Force, and he's gonna pull Wolverine. He's gonna pull Iron Man into different pieces. He's gonna kill Iron Man. He would be able to twist Iron Man's head off.
I think he would just crush the suit in and of itself with him inside of it.
Yeah, he would.
And that would be it. It. Iron Man would have to get a quick shot off with him somehow not seeing it, which I just don't see as possible either, because he can fucking sense everything around him. So, all right. So good segment. Regretfully, man, I don't think any of my guys won. I think every single one of them lost. That's all right. It's all right. I'm okay with it. So. Let's get back into what we're originally here to talk about. And thank you for playing along. And
no problem.
Anyways, so let's talk about Shock Theater. How did this originally come into being?
Shock Theater?
Yep.
It started off as Dead of Night. It ran for 3 years as Dead of Night. We did Dead of Night Dystopia, Dead of Night Initiation, Dead of Night MK Ultra. Then I had a falling out with the people I was doing that show with at the venue. One of the owners went and trademarked the name, so I could never use it again. I came up with Dead of Night in college, so that was in 2008. I didn't get a chance to I had from 2008 to 2013 to develop Dead of Night as an idea, and then we did Dead of Night for 3 years, and then I left that haunt, and then I went on to do other things, and then I started Fringe Horror Theater, and that became just Fringe Theater, and we did a bunch of shows as those things, and then I rebrand because I can never stay with one thing. And like Dead of Night this year will be those will be the last Shock Theater shows. Shock Theater is going to go away at the end of at the beginning of November, and we're going to come back as something completely different. And I prefer it that way because I will never get in court. I refuse to become a corporation. I refuse to make this about anything more than art. I refuse to make this about anything more than passion that I have for it, and I refuse to make this anything more than what stories I'm telling you and why I'm telling you the stories. And every show that I do will always have some sort of subtext and context that is about social relevance, or it's about a movie I saw, or it's a mashup of a movie, and I just like change, and I don't like sticking with one thing over and over again. And I know that bugs people because, like, why wouldn't you want to stay as something? But Shock Theater, I took that name from a 60s horror-themed horror host show called Shock Theater, hosted by Zachary, if you're familiar with him. He was an original horror host. They would put it on public access, and he would host really bad horror movies. And that's where I took the name Shock Theater from.
Cool.
You can still find some of it on YouTube, too, if anybody's interested.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Shock Theater stuff. Like, here's the cool thing is there was a bunch of other public access Shock Theater shows all around the country and different horror hosts. And I really love horror hosts. And I really love that old school retro aesthetic of what horror was then versus what it is now. Because, look, horror today, some of it's great. Some of it's terrible. I hate anything that goes woke. I hate woke stuff. I hate identity politics, and I hate the idea that people need to be represented to have empathy for characters on screen. So I hate all that shit. I think it's political correct bullshit. It's Marxist. It's wrong, and I'm really against like left-wing ideologies in my horror and in my comics and anything. Not all. Like I'm cool with liberal ideology. I'm really against leftism. I'm against the left, the far left. I don't like that shit. And they seek to change things and destroy things so they could rebuild them in their own image. They're demagogues, and they can go fuck themselves.
Heard. All right, so Shock Theater's about to come to an end, as you just said. Looking back at all the different shows that you've done, is there one in particular that was kind of a highlight for you that you were just like, God damn it, that was the one?
No, here's the thing. I don't think I'm a sociopath, right? But I don't feel things the way other people feel things. And that's probably because I have autismal spectrum disorder, and I've had that all my life. So I gauge reality and I gauge emotions differently than other people. Like, I would never hurt an animal. I would rarely ever hurt a person unless it was self-defense. But I don't feel anything when I'm doing shows. I feel absolutely nothing. I am like numb. Sometimes I might giggle, but I don't know if that's me giggling because I'm having fun or if there's like a demon inside of me that's laughing outside of me. So I don't. There's shows that we did that were fun to do, like the concepts were cool, but when I'm doing a show, even when I'm acting, like I'm on autopilot. Like it just happens. It just goes, and I'm on autopilot, and that's it. It's really it. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It just turns off, and I just go. Most of the time I can't remember things too. Like I was like, what? How did this end? But I was doing it, and I don't remember it. So that part's scary too.
A little bit. Well, he's got a body back somewhere. He's just not telling us about it. No. Maybe soon. There's a politician out there that I'm really angry at. So I said that on Facebook Live. Shit, I just lost my train of thought. Oh shit. So we can kind of I think testify a little bit to what you're talking about. So when we did Blind Date, and Blind Date was for us at the time, it was the craziest fucking thing we ever did in our whole lives. It was
It's still pretty crazy.
It still is. It was such a different experience. I wouldn't even really call that one a haunted house necessarily.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you in on a secret.
All right.
We did not know what we did not know what we were gonna do with Blind Date until like 3 hours before everyone showed up.
All right. So at the end of blind date, and you've spent an hour of doing just some shit. It's just some shit with some strangers and a little bit of shell shock at the end of it. And as soon as you come out, he immediately sits you down and throws a camera in your face. And he's like, "How was it? Was it awesome? Tell me all about it. What'd you think?" And you're still kind of in shell shock mode. It's like, dude, I need like half of a second before I'm talking to you about anything. And so I can see that. I can see how you just kind of switched to autopilot. And I don't know if you remember this part, but still to this day, fuck Sarah.
Fuck Sarah. Yeah, Sarah. Fuck Sarah. Fuck that girl. That girl should never. That girl ruined the night for everybody, in our opinion. No, she's cool. She's cool, and I think Gary and her are still together. So I think she might be coming to the next show. Okay. I know. You know, she came. They both came to Party Till You're Dead, and that was her first introduction. Now Gary's done a bunch of shit with us before.
He's like almost every show, hasn't he?
No, just he's been to like 4. He's been to four versions of Eye for Horror, and I think he may have went. Oh no, he may have went to NYZ Apocalypse. No, he did. When we were doing stuff at NYZ Apocalypse, he came to a few of those too.
He said he was a lifer.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like we have a very small pocket of people that come to these things, right? It's not like the way it is in California, which I'm envious of because we'll I don't think we'll ever have we'll have the ability to do what they do because they get to do stuff year round, and there's no way for us to do that with the weather that we have in New York. We're too seasonal, so people don't even like thinking about Halloween until the first leaf falls. And meanwhile, like it's August right now, and all the Halloween stores are starting to open and shit, and they're trying to get it out there earlier and earlier and earlier. But New York is just, I wouldn't even say the whole Northeast. They're not going to start feeling autumn until there's that cold snap, and I start smelling burning burning leaves and burning wood. And I mean, I'm sure you guys get to experience something like that when you're down where you are. I don't know if the leaves change as much as they do up here, but Halloween has a certain aesthetic. And, you know, all those Scotch and Irish people that were coming over were coming towards the East Coast, bringing those traditions here. And they obviously experienced autumn the way that we do on the East Coast because we're in that same part of the hemisphere. And, you know, it's different. It's different here than it is anywhere else, and that's why I don't think there's going to ever be anything like a show. I don't think there's going to ever be a show that's like us. There will never be, and that's because of where we are, who we are, and what we do. And that's only a part of it. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that.
Heard. So again, thinking back to Blind Date, it was so the interview that we had with you afterwards. This is the second time we've got to speak with Will. And if you guys are curious about Blind Date, go check out our review. We did a full review on it. We had the interview and everything like that. It was an awesome, awesome experience. But even at the end of it, you can kind of see just not thrown together, but you can kind of tell how just the ideas just kind of flow through you as you're going through with it. I remember one thing that you said that I really liked was, so this is what you thought Blind Date was going to be, and it's not at all. It turns out that you all are just a bunch of vile people. And there you go. There it is. So how's that make you feel? So it's very cool. Like I love how you do things. I love how your mind works, and and I appreciate how open you've been. And you know, talking about some of this stuff, it kind of helps. I see how the process works a little bit, and how these stories come to life. And before we talk about the absolute stupid nonsense that's been going on. Let's talk about that for just a second, kind of the creative process. I know you said, you know, we didn't really know what we were going to do 3 hours beforehand, but it's clear there is a creative process behind it, thought line. Like, kind of how does this stuff come together a little bit without giving too much away? How do these shows come together?
David Graham and I sit down with each other for like an hour, and we say, what are some cool things that we could do and talk about? And we are like, all right, there's a holiday coming up. We'll do a Valentine's Day show. Okay, what's that going to be? It's like, all right, we're going to do Blind Date, but we're going to do it this way. And we were like, all right, let's just become therapists. We're therapists now. We're going to be therapists for this show. Yeah. And we were some sort of version of a therapist in some sort of way.
There was some
And that was somewhat therapeutic for somebody in some sort of way. So unless it's like one of our really big, like if we do a show inside of a haunted house, there's way more planning that goes on with that because there's more logistics involved with that than there is when we do an open world thing like you guys went through or what Eye for Horror was. Eye for Horror is just a loosely written, like all those shows, if it's not in a haunted house, it's a loosely written idea and we just run with it. If it's in a haunted house, there's more logistics and there's a little bit more of a storyline and a script that we have to follow. But I still encourage all our actors to not I encourage all our actors really to just go with the flow and make sure that they're improving. They might have an idea of what they're going to do in their room, and but it's up to them to really figure out who their character is and what their character is doing, and to be as obnoxiously improvisational as possible. That way it's never the same for anybody that comes through, and it's not even the same for the actor, and that always gives the actor a little bit more that gives the actor a chance to create that character for themselves and make it real. And that's what makes our shows, I think that's what makes our shows a little bit more real than other people's shows, is because we are willing to improv everything, and we don't know what's going to happen next. So we kind of just feed off the audience, and they feed off of that, and they don't know, the audience more than half the time does not know that we don't know what we're doing yet. And that should really frighten everybody. Yeah. Happy to say no one's ever been hurt at our shows. No one's ever been hurt, and I would like to keep it that way. But yeah, we leave everything up to the audience and up to the actors to make sure that we are being fresh with all our ideas, and we're getting maximum emotion and maximum reaction from people. And they'll never know, if you're new to Shock Theater, you'll never know until the end of the show when we say, yeah, we didn't know what we were going to do yet, so we just, we improv everything. And we just experienced that with a podcast that we did a show for, and they gave us, in a week we had to come up with a concept. And the truth is, I didn't have a concept until the day before the show, and I was like, okay, I had like an idea. It's like, all right, we're going to go on a ghost tour, so I'm going to go make a ghost tour commercial, but I don't know what we're going to do on the ghost tour. And of course, it didn't turn out to be a ghost tour. It turned out to be you're joining like a ghost society that likes to hang out and be ghosts, like dress as ghosts. And that was the show. That's it. That was really it. So, and we improv that whole thing, an hour and a half long, or it was 2 hours actually, 2-hour experience where we were just driving people around, talking to them, asking them weird shit for about like an hour, and then the show got to start. So we really get you in it, so you let your guard down and you don't know what's real and what isn't.
Okay. So this is going to be the last little mention of Blind Date, but who picked the porn?
Oh, David's had that porn for a while. That he's got a lot. David's a great guy. David has a lot of crazy ideas. David does a lot he has a lot of porn tapes. So yeah, David, I'm happy to call that man my life partner, even though he and I are not gay together. But if I was ever single, I promised him, if by the time we were 40 and we weren't in a relationship, we would marry each other. And I would hold true to that promise to him. So I would marry my best friend and be gay with him because I made that promise. That's how crazy I am. I'm not even gay. I don't even like penis. So
and I will say, for to have a partner in something, what little interaction I got to have with David, really honestly, I got to interact more with David's beard than anything else that night. But David seems, and I hope he sees this, if he's not watching, he is an awesome dude, and I can't wait to see both of you guys.
Yeah, David is. David and I met each other in like 2012 when I was working at Schmidt's Farm Haunted House, which is a haunt that Rich Hamp helped start, who also helped start House of the Living Dead. This guy, Rich Hamp, is a guy you should look up. Honestly, that's a dude you should interview. You should really interview Rich Hamp because he's a great guy to talk to, and he'd have a great time telling you about the history of Halloween. He helped start the haunted attraction industry that everyone goes to. Like, if you go to Trans World, there's no way you don't know who Rich Hamp is, and he's like a rock star. He's fucking rock star famous in there. So, that's where David and I met. Where it was at Schmidt's Farm Haunted Mansion. And David I forget where David was, but I walked into Schmidt's Farm wearing a black cardigan, a white t-shirt, and I painted my face as a skull. And everyone there took haunting so seriously. And I'm just like, you guys are boners. You take haunting so seriously. All you gotta do is fucking pop out of a wall. It takes nothing. You could scare anybody any way you want. So I have a lot of issues as well with traditional haunters too. Only because everyone haunts differently. Everyone has a style, but most of the time, I think haunters are pompous, pious people, and they make shows that are self-reflective of their ego and not self-reflective of their genuine fears. And I prefer to make a show that scares the shit out of me on its concept alone than to make a show that's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna scare this guy with a killer chainsaw clown. I'd rather, oh, you're in a living room scene and you're watching a TV and all of a sudden 15 dudes that with gas masks, jumpsuits, and M16s bust into your house, rip you off your. That's a lot scarier than. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'll jump at a chainsaw guy popping out of somewhere. I'm a scaredy cat when I go to haunted houses. I scream. I have a good time. I love to have a good time when I'm getting scared. But I think real world stuff is infinitely more frightening, and that's why I'd rather write shows based about that stuff, and I'd rather write shows that are in the real world, and I'd rather talk about things other haunted houses or immersive theater experiences won't. I'd rather be a provocateur. I'd rather provoke thought with our shows than mostly entertain people. I guess in the end, I'm doing my shows to entertain myself. I'm not doing them to entertain you. I'm doing them to entertain myself and figure out things I'm dealing with. So I'm using you as a test subject to see how I really feel.
Okay. That just makes it all the more terrifying.
Yeah.
I know, right? I know. And this is why people think, Joe, I mean, obviously because I know you'll start talking about what's been going on. But real quick, there was a guy, a very big conservative YouTuber, who thought I was in the CIA. And I was doing stuff because I was in the CIA, and I had to write to the guy, and we had a 40-minute conversation over the phone, and he deleted his video where he said all this stuff about me being in the CIA, and he made a brand new video about like what we do as a theater collective and how different it is to engage people. Because again, look, it's what we do is absurd, unorthodox. It's basically unheard of, and I think that there's something to be said about that. Where if I could tell this guy what a show is about and it affects him in a certain way, and he's not even in it, I think I'm onto something. But I'm definitely not in the CIA. But if they are watching me right now, which you probably are, the FBI watching me because they've been watching me, I'm guessing, because of what happened. You should hire me. I know what I'm doing. I know how to frighten the shit out of I know how to scare the shit out of a whole country, apparently.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that here in just a second. But one last question before we do. Recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had the police call on one of your shows where the police showed up or something.
Okay. All right, check it out. So this show was wrong. That happened in 2017. 2017 this happened.
All right.
And the show was genuinely supposed to end with fake cops who were just actors, but it ended up with a team of probably 6 to 8 real cops pointing guns at us. And I pointed a fake gun at a cop because I couldn't see if it was an actor or not. And I think the only thing that saved us was that we were playing 80s new wave music and we were throwing cat food at people, because the premise of the show was we're criminals and you get kidnapped by us and you're the wrong people. So now we have to figure out what to do with you. and we didn't bring our murder bag. We brought our groceries instead because we brought the wrong bag. And the whole show is just about everything going wrong for us and how it affects you, the audience member. And this is how it affected them. So David and I played a gay criminal couple who would always bicker. And the reason why the cops got called is because we kidnapped people in a public arcade, and I pointed guns at there was kids screaming in that video. Nobody knew we were going to do that. Nobody knew that was coming. So there's kids screaming and there's parents like, what the hell? And I'm just like, shut your fucking mouths. I got a gun. and we kidnapped these people, and that set people off, I guess. And I try to do everything as punk rock as I possibly can, because I'll never not be punk. I don't think I'll ever not be a punk rocker at heart. So I don't care about authority. I don't care about how people feel within reason. Although I personally cannot feel things that other people feel. Like if a family member of mine dies, I can't cry. I can't get upset by it, because that's life, and that's just how I process things. And it's like, I'm happy to have known that person. And sure, it's sad that they're not going to be around anymore, but there will be someone else to fill that void in my life in some sort of way. If not, I will always be able to remember that person. So I don't cry. I don't get sad. I can fake cry though, which is scary.
Yeah.
So that's scary, because you never know. You never know when you never know when I'm serious or not.
Very cool. Very cool. Is Victim Experience watching right now?
Oh, hey, that's cool. Hey, Victim Experience. Big fan. Big fan of your stuff.
I've been I don't, and obviously they can correct me if I'm wrong. God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I want to go. I want to do it. I know I don't think they're doing anything this year. I could be 125% wrong on that, but just the concept, and from what I've seen,
They are.
All right, cool. All right, so
we're gonna be hitting you up.
All right, so we might be trying to get a hold of you very shortly, but that's some craziness that they got going on. But
I've heard stories about the Victim Experience. Only ever good stuff. I will say that, like, right off the bat, I would never go to that show. I would never go to it. I've never been to an extreme haunted house.
I know.
I have personally never gone through. I have never gone through one myself, and I refuse to go.
Official word, it doesn't exist. So yeah, we're going to be trying to get a hold of you. And so when we talked to Justin, Justin has gone. And when we did the review on his haunt and the phenomenal experience that it was, and I told Justin I didn't really think I would go. And I don't think that it was his intention, but I kind of almost
forced you to go.
I almost felt called out by him a little bit, because he was like, "Oh well, I've been. And it was a blast." And so now I'm like, "Oh shit! Now I got to go. I have to go try it. I have to push to the next step and see what it's all about." So now that I've gotten all sidetracked and excited about Victim Experience, I'm back with you, Will. Promise.
I'm just adjusting. I'm adjusting myself. Are you sure I don't look fat in this camera? I have body dysmorphia. Do I look fat in this camera? I feel like I do.
You look beautiful. All right, you're good. You're good. So let's talk about what the fuck happened. Before we talk exactly about what the fuck happened, little prequel, just a small little taste of what maybe to expect, or just maybe kind of like even like a general idea as to what's going to happen here shortly.
The show in October?
Yep.
No, you're not gonna know. I'm never gonna tell you. All I know is you might buy a ticket with your significant other or your friend. Just know that you're not gonna start off the show together. You have to be in different locations. You have to find each other, and you also have to avoid what's following you as best as you can. And you are going to be looking for, all right, so say it was just you as a single person going. You're looking for 4 other people. You also have to wear a costume. You have to come dressed in a costume because you're playing a role. So consider this real world LARPing in a way, and you're going on a quest, but this quest is kind of fucked up. and
This is so cool.
you're being watched by 5 different actors. I can't tell you which one, and that is you have your own storyline for the first half hour, and then you have to, and within that half hour, you have to avoid getting taken by whoever is trying to take you. Because if they take you, they're going to take you to a place where you don't want to go. And if you gotta get to your group of people before it's too late, and then you each have to finish the show. So consider it like the Losers Club from It. You finding each other. Okay. So it's like It meets Stand By Me meets consider it like it's like Stand By Me. Stand By Me meets It, and then there's a bunch of crazy characters coming after you. It's like the Warriors. Oh, It meets Stand By Me meets the Warriors.
I'm so excited about
that show.
We have now done extreme experiences together. We've done them separate, and to combine the two the way that it sounds like you're going to do, I'm so excited to do this one.
Yeah, you just got me. I was excited to begin with. Again, we absolutely loved your experience. We love you. We love David. But now I'm beyond amped. Like I can't fucking wait to get up there and see this shit. That's gonna be awesome. I know you can't give anything away. But if you're going to have actors following people, I'm not necessarily calling David out, but
I didn't say David would be one of those actors. Maybe David and I are just watching.
I know.
Maybe we're just watching stuff happen, and we're making sure everything goes right.
Unfinished business with the whole beard incident and everything else. You know, David and I got some unfinished issues I need to clear up with David.
He just wants to touch his beard again.
It's not completely true. It was a soft beard. It was a very nice beard. I will say that.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could tell you more, guys, but I can't tell you who's going to be doing what and what we're going to be doing and how it's all going to end for you. I just know that you have to make sure you get to your group before we get to you.
Okay. Very cool.
And again, like you're not gonna know when we're watching you, when we're gonna come for you. You're never gonna know that.
Very cool. I'm fucking excited. That is such a cool concept, man.
Oh, and the best part is this is happening within the town, an active town. So you don't know who's part of the show. We know you're part of it because we're gonna make sure that you're wearing we're gonna know that you're part of it because you're gonna dress we're gonna make sure you look ridiculous, and you're gonna be out in public looking like this. So that's kind of part of it, is that you'll be out in public looking a certain way, and people are gonna be looking at you, and you'll never know. It's like, all right, well, are the people looking for us in costume, or are they regular people? And we're not gonna tell you whether they are or not. Just remember, every interaction you have could be or couldn't be part of the show. So it really leaves it open. Like if a cop comes up to you and they're like, "What are you doing?" It's like, what are you doing? All you know is that you have to get to a certain place to find people, and you have to get there no matter what, or we find you, and then it gets bad.
So Trisha's already admitted that she's completely fucked. She can't deal with any type of directions at all.
No.
At all.
I dye my hair, guys. I'm blonde.
And so she's gonna be lost from the get-go.
I mean, that sucks for her. But don't worry. Even if she's bad at her directions.
Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I mean, we're going to be we'll be explicitly clear with people that it's going to happen a certain way, but that's why our actors are also going to be around following you to make sure that they guide you in the right direction. Thank you, Justin Brink. You are a beautiful human being. I would kiss your head if you were in front of me. So I hear his show is fucking bonkers. Like it is like being in a crime movie. That's what I hear. It's like being in like true crime films that are really like, from what I understand, Justin Brink is basically the Martin Scorsese of doing immersive horror. That's what I've been told by people. Based on what they've told me about his shows, that sounds very Scorsese-esque. And he does a lot of like really intense, I don't know. Justin, you're there. Describe your show to me in text, because I've only heard like it's crime related and it's true crime related and it's really fucked up what goes on. So I'm just going to make sure that you're the Scorsese of immersive horror, which is a good thing. Scorsese's great.
I can tell
It
you.
was truly the most empowering thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's it really is. I this is going to sound egotistical, but it is what it is. I consider myself pretty hard to this stuff. It takes a fucking lot for me to really get shook up. Or I mean, if you think back to Blind Date, I had a fun time. It was a blast. There was not a point that I really got shook. And then the same thing when we did Stag. I never got shook. There was a scene in Stag that was fucking awful. I mean, not awful in how it was presented, but what you were doing was just fucking terrible. It's just something that you would never.
Were you raping? Wait, did Stag have a rape scene? Were you raping somebody?
No.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but not. Okay.
I was shook.
I'll tell you what. I don't want to give it away on, but if you, I'll message you afterwards and tell you what it was a little bit. But sort of.
Blaine, you gotta fill him in.
It was fucked up. It was really fucked up. And the actors, and they were even talking to Trish about it afterwards. They were like, "What the fuck's wrong with him? He's laughing. He's down there laughing while we're doing it, just fucking giggling and having fun, and just making it further than what he probably should have." Justin's show fucking shook me. It's not an experience I've had before where I've genuinely been thrown off my game and in a position to where I was genuinely I was kind of at his mercy a little bit, and it made it so much better. It made it one of the most fun shows I've ever been to and ever had been a part of. He genuinely, I mean, from the opening scene, he got right in my fucking head, and he just sat there for the rest of the night. It was cool. I know you don't
see. I can see him telling me to come through and find out about his show. Justin, I'm never gonna go through one of these shows. I'm never gonna go through anybody's show. There's one show I'll go through. It's Nyctophobia, and Eric Striffler. I don't think he'll ever do another Nyctophobia. But his shows are not extreme. They're like cinematic, like they're cinematic masterpieces that are happening right in front of you. Like the best immersive theater I've ever been on or been to was him, and I got to tell you, it was his Eric Striffler shows are crazy. But as far as going to an immersive experience where it's like full contact and shit, I'm not going to do it, Justin. But how about you come out to New York and we just do a show together? And that would, don't cry.
Hey, look, it's not like, I mean, full contact. I mean, it's just a little bit of playful shoving and stuff like that. It's nothing crazy, Will. And I'm not lying to you right now either.
Bullshit.
Hey, whether you're telling the truth or not, I'm still not going to go through one. All right.
Fair enough.
I also don't want to be influenced by anyone else's shows either. Like that's the thing is like I don't want to go through anyone else's shows because I don't want to find influence in them and then like, hey, I'm going to use this or I'm going to use that. I don't want to deal with. I don't want to do that. And I would never want to do that to another creator, like borrow things or whatever, whether I had permission or not. So I don't go to other shows like that. I'll go to a regular haunted house in October. I'll go to a bunch, and I'll go to Nyctophobia. But I won't do another person's show solely for that reason.
Okay, I can respect the shit out of that. I like that. That's a good answer. It's a good way to get out of it.
So we may possibly be dumbasses, but we are doing our damnedest to get tickets to Blackout the same week that we're going to see you.
Yeah. So we'll do Blackout, and then I think we're going to try to do, if everything plays out, we'll do Blackout,
a regular haunt,
a couple regular haunts that following night, which is crazy to think we're going to do a couple regular haunts just as like kind of a break. But we're going to do Blackout, a couple regular haunts, and then come spend the evening with you all. So it's going to be a hell of a weekend.
Listen, you're like there's a bunch there is a bunch of great haunted houses in New York. If you're going to be in New York, you better come to the island and go to Gateway Playhouse for your like a traditional haunt. Head to Chamber of Horrors. I mean, sure, go to as many of them as you possibly can. But the big one is going to Gateway Playhouse because that is an enormous show. It's about like 45 minutes long. They have hundreds of actors, and it's a lot of fun. Gateway Playhouse is the most atmospherically, traditionally Halloween-y show you could go to when you're out here. Avoid Bayville Scream Park.
Heard. I want you to.
That's
John
what I'd
Carter
say.
mentions Scream Park.
I want you to know we tried to get Justin to come out. He just wasn't able to. He's got some other arrangements and everything else like that. We tried really, really hard to get him to come out.
I'll remember that, Justin. I'll remember that.
I tried. He's a busy man. Like, I mean,
I'm sure he's very busy. I'm sure he's very, very, very busy guy.
While he had another victim strung up in the next room that he just left strung up for a little over an hour. So, he's very busy. He's got many victims that he's got to run through. He's trying to put together all these awesome haunts and everything else. So, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We won't.
Call him out.
Just a little bit, not much. I don't think all caps was necessary. Seems a little aggressive. But anyways, so let's talk about it, man. It's the whole reason that we got together tonight, other than just fucking talking to you. It's awesome. And I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us a little bit tonight. And I hope it's been fun for you too. But let's fucking talk about the elephant in the room, man. What the fuck happened?
All right. So we shot part of a commercial for a show in early July, and that prop flyer you see was from that commercial, and then it got leaked on the internet from a person who was running our Twitter account, because I hate Twitter. I don't like Twitter. So I didn't want to work on Twitter, so I let somebody else do it. They hadn't been with us for a while, and they weren't in the loop that we were doing a new show. And the guy's fairly, like, look, I don't care what kind of politics you have as long as you're not, like, racist or anything and an asshole or transphobic or homophobic, because I have too many people that work with us that are trans or gay or are not white. And I want people to work with us from all different backgrounds, and they don't make a big deal of who they are or what they are. Their immutable factors aren't important to them. They just want to have fun and act in a show. So this guy he's fairly, like, he was a Trump supporter too, and he was calling out Reza Aslan's comment about eradicating Trump supporters. Now, I don't care where you fall politically, because I don't have I'm not left or right. I'm against the idea of being partisan. I'm more about, like, I call myself a civic nationalist. So when I say I'm a civic nationalist, I mean, it's another way of saying liberal nationalist. That means I'm okay for anyone to come to this country as long as they come to this country legally and they search for the prosperity and happiness that our Constitution endows on them and protects for them all the rights that we have, that we're born with in this country. So I don't like the left, and I do not like the right, and that puts me in a very odd situation for a lot of people, because they don't know where to place me, because I have views that are mixed between both, and I have friends that are mixed between both. So when this guy was responding to Reza Aslan, and he called Reza Aslan out with a flyer, he should never have posted this flyer, and that got picked up by the Patch, and then it was history from there. And we were going to be like, all right, well, we're going to fire this guy and not take any credit for what's going on, because we don't like people that we don't want people to know what kind of show we're doing in the first place until we're ready to tell you about it. Yeah. And he kind of spoiled that, but at the same time, we didn't think it was our fault to have to apologize in the first place. But we let him go, and then we started getting death threats and death threats and death threats and death threats from Trump supporters, and I'm just like, this doesn't make Trump supporters look good. So I'm just going to spill the beans about what the show's about. Then I'm going to tell you more about the context of what's going on. We did an Eye for Horror show with Rodney from the Shadows last year, and we weren't there. We let him run it, and we let him run with the theme, and that theme was your Trump supporters going on a 2020 re-election campaign for Trump, and you're flyering and leafleting, and you get attacked by crazy leftists, and that's the show, and you die as a Trump supporter. You get killed for your beliefs, even though you're not doing anything wrong. And a lot of the time, listen, Trump supporters are a majority of the country. That is 100% true. It is like there's no Russian conspiracy. That is a media psyop. And that's just the truth. And I don't care if you're watching this and you like, fuck that Will guy because of that. I don't care what you think. I know the reality of what's going on. And you trust the media, and you're going to get hurt because the media doesn't give a shit about you. They only care about ratings and dividing the country. And
God damn, did they show that with what's going on with what they did with you?
Yes, they
no,
did.
That
but
is so clear.
there was something weird going on. There was a lot of weird shit going on with all that. So I'll explain that. So for this show that we were gonna do, it's an escape room. You're going to it with another person, and you're either a Trump supporter or you're an Antifa member, and you're at a protest, and then you both get kidnapped by an outside force, and you get locked in a room, and you're supposed to help each other find a way out. So our show is about unifying two people to find their way out, and what you're uncovering in this escape room aren't necessarily puzzles. They're more you're finding out about the media and the elite behind the media who want to divide the country and start a civil war, using you as patsies to do it. And my whole goal with this is to unite people. It's never to divide people. But the media only showed you one poster. There's two posters. So one said death camps for Trump supporters, and the other one said Trump is punk as fuck, deport all liberals to Mexico now. And we had Trump's head superimposed over punk legend Gigi Allen's body. So they didn't show you that, and they didn't want to show you that because they wanted to, and they knew what we were doing. We gave them all the context in the world. But they barely mentioned any of that because the juiciest thing to them was the death camp thing, and they wanted to scare Trump supporters. They really wanted to frighten them. Not only did they want to frighten them, they wanted to get them to act on that fear. And if that had happened, they would come after Trump. They would come after their supporters. And I wasn't okay with that. And now I have a politician lying about what's going on. And that's the story, is the media. The media did this. We didn't do this. And if you read our apology, it says, this is the media's fault. It isn't our fault. Blame the media because the media is lying to you. And that is that's the story. And whether or not we're going to do the show, I don't know yet. But everything happened all at once. So the movie The Hunt was coming out, and then this happened, and then Reza Aslan said eradicate Trump supporters, and then this was at the tail end of those two shootings that happened. One guy was a white nationalist, a scumbag, and the other guy was a leftist, a scumbag. Those people are white phosphorus for our country. We shouldn't be looking at each other as left and right, Democratic and Republican. We need to be looking at each other as Americans and moving forward. Otherwise, we won't be able to enjoy the things that you and I enjoy if we keep going in either direction. If we go too far right, if it depends on what kind of right wing you're talking about. So you could have your the further right you get in America, there's supposed to be less government. It doesn't seem to be that way with the military-industrial complex.
It doesn't seem to be that at all.
And that's the other issue, is that we have an invisible government, and that's the media and the military-industrial complex. And those people call the shots on us little people. They send us to war to die for their business. And that's another thing I'm just not cool with. So like, I'm fairly anti-government in general. And the further left you get, the more government there is. The further right you get, the less government there's supposed to be. But we can't have that when we have neoconservatives and neoliberals still in our government. And neoliberalism and neoconservatism are genuine cancers, just as much as being an anti-fa leftist is being, and then being a white nationalist is the same thing. I'm not down with any of it. So I write shows about stuff like that, and they didn't want to report on it. They didn't want to tell everybody the truth, and they didn't. So I'm going to move this down here now. Hello. Sorry, I had to move. So
I feel like you're still worried about looking fat.
What?
I feel like you're still worried about looking fat. You keep adjusting the camera.
I shaved today, and when I shave, I look a little chunkier than I normally do. So like I buzz.
Beautiful.
Also, I'm not like, I feel like I look like a penis right now, or a thumb. So yeah, so that's what happened, and yeah, we got a lot of death threats from Trump supporters, and I've been reaching out to people who are Trump supporters and letting them know that like the show wasn't anti-Trump, and the media didn't want to tell you that. They wanted you to They wanted you to react to it, and some people believe us, and some people don't, and I can't help the people who don't want to believe us. I know baby boomers are really hard to get through to, and they're hard to talk to in general. Baby boomers, Gen X and millennials and Gen Z, they're a little easier to talk to, but baby boomers are so set in their ways because they destroyed this country. They destroyed this country with all their cheap goods that they wanted from China and whatnot. They let this country go down the drain, and they were the luckiest ones. Baby boomer, like the baby boom generation, they had everything. They had the fucking world on a silver platter, and they gave it. They ruined our environment. They sent businesses across the ocean. Like we should only like. I'm not saying we shouldn't be buying stuff from other places or trading with other countries, but we definitely should only be focusing on fixing our country and fixing the problems in our country. And that's why I'm proud. I'm okay to call myself a nationalist. And I know that sounds like a dirty word to people, but like, look, Nazis were not nationalists. They weren't. They were globalists. They planned on taking over the planet. Mussolini was a nationalist. He cared about Italy. But fascism and National Socialism, those are two types of socialisms that you don't consider socialism because people on the left would tell you it's different. But here, let me explain why it's the same thing. In Nazi Germany, sure, you could buy things and there was capitalism, but you had to buy things that benefited the state. Same thing with fascism. In Italy, you bought that benefited the state. Now, I'm not going to say that that's necessarily a bad thing, but you were compelled to buy those things. You didn't have choice. Now, I like the idea of having a regulatory capitalist system in this country where we have a regulatory market, free market, where we don't let corporations run rampant, take the rights away from little people, hurt smaller businesses, and we don't have the government doing the same thing to those businesses or the people. There's got to be more balance, and because of crony capitalism and because of the way government functions, it kind of ruined things for people. And until we can fix those things, we're going to have these same issues. And I don't think there should be left or right issues. Look, mass shootings happen every day in Chicago, but you don't hear about it on the news. One, because they're black people. Two, because it's happening with a 9mm. And three, the media doesn't really give a shit about poor people. They pretend to. The celebrities pretend to give a shit about all these people that are poorer than them and whatnot, but then they do nothing for them. It's virtue signaling. And that's my biggest issue with modern day leftists is that they're a bunch of virtue signaling wiener kids that need to shut the fuck up and put their money where their mouth is. Look, a bunch of Trump supporters went and cleaned up Baltimore just recently. They went to Baltimore and helped clean it up. I have not seen any people that are Democrats doing that or liberals or leftists doing that. And I like liberals. I consider myself fairly liberal myself. I believe in individualism and liberty for everybody. And that's what being a liberal is. But if you're a leftist, you are you might not know it, but you're part of the problem. You don't care about your country. You care about the idea of uniting the global world. Well, I'm not interested in living in a global government. I'm not. I hate the idea of global government because it always ends up as a global dictatorship. And that means there's going to be mass death. So when we made those flyers, we wanted to position the show as the two worst extremes of both sides, having to finally come together in a hostile-like way and work together to fight their way out. And that's the premise of the show. And that's the thing the media didn't. And the media asked us what the show is about, we said that, and they're like, "So you're not anti-Trump?" And we're like, "No, we're not anti-Trump. We're not pro-Trump either, but we're not anti-Trump. We're pro-unity. We don't care about the left or the right." That's when they didn't want to tell that story anymore. That's why you got the story you got.
Yeah, and so then after all this stuff comes out, I respect the apology. I respect how you tried to do it. I don't think you needed to personally, but that's just my humble opinion. But you come out, you do the apology, and it almost seems like you get shit on for doing the fucking apology.
He did get shit on for doing the apology. It was fucked up, the comments and the annoyance that people were sending to him.
I think we lost him.
Did we lose him or did Facebook say no?
They didn't We'll give it a second here. We're going to see if.
Nope. And all right then. Well, how about that? I guess we got a little too deep there for a second, and Facebook said that. Excuse me on that. Will, if you are still out there.
His phone died.
His phone died?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll conclude our interview tonight. That's a first. Anyways, so as you can see there, towards the end, I love it. I love it. Anyways, so they, for those that have watched, and for those that do have an idea of what's going on, Shock Theater is just there. It's just fun, guys.
It's called Shock Theater. What do you expect?
All this stuff is stupid nonsense. There's absolutely no need for it to got blown up the way it did. And just like Will said, without jumping into politics too awfully much this evening, any more than we already have, it's just silly. It's just silly. There's no need for it. Thank you, Christina. Absolutely no need for it at all. It just got blew way out of proportion for absolutely no fucking reason. Will, David, everybody involved are great, great people that are just trying to put on a great, great show. And they do. And we can't wait to go up and see what they got in store for us in October. Can't wait to, we're going to try and talk to them again up in October as well. We always do. And we're very excited about it. I'm very excited to find out about Victim Experience a little bit.
Yeah.
Warren, we're going to be blowing you up shortly.
Man, you don't know this about me. Vampires are my shit.
So we will be hitting you up very, very soon and seeing what we can do there. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out here.
He said we should finish this.
Let's go. We're still here. But while we're waiting, so we're gonna try and get Will back on.
He said tell everyone the CIA got him.
The CIA, Facebook police, they all jumped him there. So while he's trying to hop back on, a couple of things that we want to go over. So we got Chris Roosh tomorrow. Is that the last one before the season finale? Or is there one other?
Chris Roosh? No, we have Andrew Fitton.
Andrew Fitton. All right, so we got two more. And then season
Is it
finale.
Andrew? I think it's his father. I think Andrew had to move
Yeah.
to 2020.
Ron, right?
Yeah, Ron.
Yeah, so we got coming up, excuse me there. In case you're wondering, I was just dropping some acid real quick.
You're going to get us pinged.
It was a fucking Listerine strip, okay? Before fucking Facebook freaks out. But anyways, so we'll have Chris Roosh tomorrow night. And then we are going to have Ron Fithard the next Monday. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. And then we are going to have our quote-unquote season finale. There is actually going to be one more
There's a bonus episode
of Talking Scared afterwards, where we'll be talking to Jim Lattimore. He is a wrestler, as well as a scare actor, as well as a scurry face rep. And we had the...
and he just might fight Moto.
Yeah, he just might fight Moto. We're trying to get him in... No. Oh, yeah. Well, we're trying to get him to fight a couple people, to be honest. But we'll see. So anyway, so we'll be talking to him. In the season finale, it's going to be 2 parts.
The phone's not going to happen. It's got the red light. It means it's really dead.
Heard. All right, so that's going to be it. We will tell him, hey, we're going to finish that conversation that night when we come up there. We'll finish that conversation with him then, as long as he's able to. They're always very, very busy that night, but we'll figure it out, even if we got to meet up with them afterwards or something. We always figure it out. We always find a way to do it. And even when it's a little tiresome and a little rough sometimes, trying to get this shit together and to fit right and to flow right, and Facebook's a dick. All of that. We'll get it put together. The season finale, it's coming up. It's right around the corner. We will be going back to where it all fucking started, to where Talking Scared began. But a little different this time. Instead
He said it'll work.
Okay, what,
It'll
that?
come up.
All right, cool. So that's going to work. That's confirmed. Just confirmed with him on that. We'll be finishing that conversation up that night, and hopefully be able to introduce you to David as well. We introduced you to David a little bit with our original Shock Theater review, but also give David a chance to talk about it a little bit as well. So like I said, season finale, where I got sidetracked for a second, I'm not going to be there for it. All right? This guy right here. We haven't seen him for a little while. He almost fell. I thought he was attached. He was not. But our favorite little friend. At least my favorite little friend. I fucking love this guy. He's a dick, but I fucking love him anyways. He's a cool dick, I think, at least. So, anyways, this guy right here, it's not me. Anyways, this guy will be doing the season finale. We're going to be talking to Chris Burke, who is Moist the Clown. We're not actually going to be talking to Chris. We're going to be talking to Moist the night before. We'll be doing Piggy. We've all heard all about Piggy and some of the cool stuff that he has going on over at Experience Terror Team, which I need to get. Yeah, anyways. So we'll be talking with CJ, and we're going to have several surprise guests. It's going to be popping in and out. That's why I got to get OBS running, because as you can see, it can be a little trying on Facebook. So we're going to try and have OBS running full tilt by then.
Anybody involved in the haunt community in any way, shape, or form whatsoever that is interested in Talking Scared, I am booked through June now of 2020. Yeah. Hit me up now if you want a spot.
So seriously, as crazy as that sounds, so we have four more episodes. Five more episodes, because the season finale is going to be a double episode thing. But we're booked up till June of 2020. All right, and we're only going to go till August again. So the end of August will be that cutoff date. And that's it. So we probably got, 6 or 7 spots left for season 2 of Talking Scared. We're in season 2 of Talking Scared, man. It's going to be fucking epic. We are working on some, excuse me. Like I said, I'm still recovering from this cold a little bit. So please forgive me. Hopefully tomorrow night I'll be a little bit better, a little more focused than what I was tonight. A little foggy up here today, and it's because of all the acid I just took a second ago. What? What are you trying to show me?
Just watch the screen. It keeps randomly zooming in.
Oh, yeah, it does. All right. Well, being that Facebook's starting to randomly zoom in and everything else, that's it. We're all done tonight. Tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. with Chris Roosh. Probably actually going to start about 9:15 or so, because we're going to do a bunch of fantasy football stuff. We're going to get all that locked the fuck down. Have everybody in that we want to have in it. Get it all set up. Announce the draft day. And all that good jazz. Very excited to do this fantasy football league. I think it's going to be a blast. And that's it. That's it for tonight. So, Will, thank you for coming out and talking to us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Justin, Warren, Christina, everybody else that's been tuning in and watching. Melody, all the people that we've missed. Thank you all so much for bearing with what was a very, very technically difficult episode, as they always seem to be. But we'll figure it out one day. One day we'll get it all together. But for now, that's it. Another episode of Talking Scared in the books. We will see you tomorrow night, 9:15ish, something like that. Chris Roosh will be on at 9:30. We got a bunch of shit we're going to go over beforehand. A few things that we're going to talk about as well. We're almost got our haunt season finalized. And what we're going to be doing and getting that scheduled out to you all shortly and letting you all know exactly where we are and aren't going to be going this year. But we got a lot of stuff that we're planning on doing. A lot of fucking haunts that we're going to do. And we have not forgot about the beach. Okay, I promise. Ripley's, Zombie Zone, we're going to get you.
Link.
It's just, we can't fucking upload shit. I'm literally going to have to download it to my external hard drive, go over to my mom's house, and upload it from there. Because, fuck. I'm going to end on this note. Fuck you, Sudden Link. Have a good night.